Isang magandang buhay para sa ating lahat. Narito na naman po tayo sa panibagong topic ng ating lecture for today. I hope na marami kayong matutunan. Pero bago ang lahat, please subscribe and press the bell button para at least po updated po kayo sa mga lectures natin. Okay, so for today, we're going to discuss the Polya's problem. He is George Polya. Yes, as is George Polya. He was a teacher and a mathematician and lived from 1887 to 1985. He published a book in 1949 which is How to Solve It, explaining that people could learn to become a better problem solvers. So, karamihan kasi, di ba, remember, nahihirapan sa pag-solve sa math. Pag narinig pala yung mathematics, nahihirapan na. So, nag-develop siya nun. So ito yung kanyang Polya's four pieces of problem solving. First, we have to understand. So what do I notice? What do I wonder? How can I estimate? And what questions can I ask? And then after that, you have to plan. So what are the strategies should I use? What steps will it take to solve the problem? And then after that, you have to review. Does my answer make sense? Did I check my work? And then could someone see how I found my answer? And then solve the problem? And then how do I apply my strategy? Have I shown all the my work? Is my voice loud and clear? Oh. So ito yung mga kanyang strategy or four phases of problem solving. So sabi nga dyan, we have to understand the problem. Then first, you have to understand the problem. And then you have to look for the unknown and what are the data. And then the conditions. And then is it possible to satisfy the condition? Is the condition sufficient to determine the unknown? Or it's insufficient? Kasi kung minsan, remember, may mga problems na direct substitution or yung iba, you have to look for the other unknown bago mo solve, di ba? Or redundant or contradictory, di ba? Yan ang medyo easy, titingnan nyo. And then draw a figure, introduce suitable notation. And then after that, separate the various parts of the condition. Can you write them down? Mas maganda, di ba? And then after that we have to devise a plan. Second, find the connection between the data and the unknown. You may be obliged to consider the auxiliary problems if an immediate connection cannot be found. You should obtain eventually a plan of the solution. So have you seen it before? Kasi kung minsan, di ba, familiar sa iyo yung problem, pero kung minsan, familiar sa iyo, pero may slight different ang form ng problem, di ba? And then, do you know a related problem? Do you know a charm that could be useful? Yan ang titignan mo kung mayroon tayong pwedeng magamit para ma-solve natin yung problem natin, di ba? And then, look at the unknown. Try to think of a familiar problem having the same or similar unknown, di ba? Para mas madali na masosolve mo yun. And then, is a problem related to yours and solved before? Could you see it? Could you use its results? Could you use its method? And then, should you introduce some auxiliary element in order to make its use possible? Can you restate the problem? Could you restate it still differently and go back to the definitions? And then, if you cannot solve the problem or proposed problem, try to solve first some related problem. Could you imagine a more accessible related problems, a more general problem, and then a more special problem, an analogous problems, or could you solve a part of the problem? Keep only a part of the conditions or drop the other part. How far is the unknown? Then determine how can it vary, di ba? Could you derive something useful from the data? Kasi kung minsan, we have to derive the formula para ma-solve natin yung mga dapat natin solve, di ba? Or could you think of other data appropriate to determine the unknown? And then could you change the unknown or data or both if necessary so that the unknown and new data are nearer to each other? So did you use all the data? This is data, not date. Data yan, data. This is date. Data yan, data. Hindi yan date. Did you use the whole condition? So have you taken? Palitan ko nga muna yung color. Ayan, this is data. Ayan. Okay, did you use the whole condition? Have you taken into account all, excuse me, essential notations involved in the problems? So after that, carry out the plan. So third, carry out your God. So carrying out your plan of the solution. So check each step. So can you see clearly that the step is correct? Can you prove that it is correct? Kasi kumisan, titingnan mo din sa procedures ng solve mo kung tama yung ginagawa mo. Kasi baka mamaya may ma-miss ka kasi in the end, mali pa rin pala yung sagot mo. So yun, check mo mabuti. And then looking back, examine the solution obtained. Can you check this result or can you check the argument? So you have to check that. And then can you derive the solution differently or can you see it at a glance? Can you use the result or the method for some other problems? Yan. Okay, so yun yung apat na phase ni Polya's for solving problems. So try natin gamitin. So dito yung sa sample problems, middle school students populations. So we have the name of school, yan tatlo, Lincoln, Mason, and Washington. So they have different numbers of female students and then male students. So Lincoln, we have 980, 862 for the male, and then for the Mason or Mason 712, 894, and then 568 for the Washington, and then 761. So, ang tinatanong dito, how many more students are at Lincoln Middle School than Washington Middle School? So, you have to compare. So, ang target natin ngayon si Lincoln tsaka si Washington. Ayan. So, check natin ha. So, sabi dyan, yung kay Lincoln, 980, 862, tapos 568, 761. So, in-add natin sila. Yan. In-add natin. So, add natin yan. Bawat isa. So, ito yung total nila. Ayan. So, nakuha natin total, di ba? So, after that, so you have to look for the difference. So, nakuha natin dito 513. So, nakita natin na there were 513 more students in Lincoln compared in Washington. So, yun. Nasolve natin yung problem. Di ba? Kasi we're looking for the how many more students are at Lincoln compare sa Washington Middle School. So, nakita natin yan na may sobra pa siya ng 513. Ayan. Di ba? Dali lang. Next. Find the sum of the first 100 natural numbers. So, actually, i-add mo rin 1, 2, 3 hanggang sa 100. Eh, medyo mahaba. Kasi ang sagot dyan is 5,050. Paano siya nakuha? So, try natin ganito. So, pag nakita nyo, 1 plus 100, 2 plus... So, nakita mo pa na yung 101 na nakikita natin, di ba? So, check mo to. 101, 101, 101, 101. Kahit na 5 plus 96 is still 101 pa rin yun, di ba? Okay, so nakita natin dyan, Okay, so nakita natin dyan na how many pairs are there from 1 to 100? So, alam natin that we have 50 pairs. Di ba? Kasi Hahatiin natin yun, di ba? Okay. So, na-check na natin yan. Oh, 50 times 101. So, we have 5,050. Ang galing, di ba? Madali lang. Kasi we have 50 pairs. Yan. Itong 101 na to, kasi yun na nakuha natin sa bawat isa. Eh, pag pinas natin ang bawat isa, so we have 50. 5,050 ang final answer natin. So, madali lang, di ba? Actually, dito muna yan. Dito sa ko na to, may in-upload po ako sa Google Classroom natin, for my students na solving nyo. Continuation for this problem. I hope na gawin nyo siya. So, check nyo lang doon yung mga questions and then still same given values ng mga data. So, solve nyo yung mga na doon. Okay. So, next. Ito. A total of 100 chickens and carabaos are in a farm. So, if the total number, ito ha, combination of chicken and carabao. Yan, 100 na to. Ngayon, pag inado natin yung total number of legs nila, we have 340. Ang tanong, how many carabaos are there? Kasi hindi pwedeng ko natin yan, di ba? So, pwede natin, ang tawag din kasi dito, pwede tayo manghula. Kaya lang kasi, yung paghuhula natin, ipuprove natin, di ba? So, ang tama daw sagot dyan, 70 carabaos and 30 chickens. Eh, hindi mo naman pwede kagad yan ang hula mo, di ba? So, pwede natin ganito. Ano natin kung for example, 20 yung carabaos and then we have 80 chickens. So, pag pinag-add natin dalawa na yan, tama, 100 siya. Pero, 20 times 4 is 80. And then 80 times 160. Pag pinag-add natin dalawa, lilitaw na 240 siya. So, mali yung sagot natin. Di ba? O, so, hula ulit tayo. Pag 30 naman kalabaw at 17 chicken. So, still tama pa rin, 100. Pero yung paa, kasi apat, so 120. So, dalawa, 140. Pag pinag-add natin, we have 260. Yung dalawa, di ba? So, mali pa rin. Kasi 260. Ang kailangan natin is 340. O, check natin uli. 60 naman yung kalabaw, 40 naman yung manok. So, tama, 100 pa rin. Pero, pagdating sa kalabaw, we have 240. Sa manok ay 80. Pag 320. So, mali pa rin. Di ba? Kulang pa rin tayo. O, gawin natin 70. Yung kalabaw, 30 yung manok. Sa 70 plus 30 is 100. So, tama tayo doon. Di ba? Tama tayo dyan. So, 70 times 4 is 280. 30 times 2 is 60. Pag pinag-ano is 340. So, ito yung ating tamang hula. So, we have 70 na kalabaw at 30 na manok. O, di ba? Kasi chinek natin. So, yun. Pag pinag-add natin mga paa nila, we have 340. Di ba? Madali lang. Masaya mag-solve niyan. Okay. Okay, problem solving strategies according to garyhall.org.uk. So, we have to create a diagram. So draw a picture, have the people play roles, or use manipulatives to act the problem out. Manipulate your materials to find the solution to the problem. Remember, different pictures might all lead to correct solution. So label the steps as you work out the problem. So next, we have to guess and check. Yung ginawa natin kanina, think of the answer that might work and then test your guess. If your guess isn't right, think about how you can change it to get closer to your answer or to the answer. So write down your guesses so you can start seeing patterns and use the information to make the to make the to make revised guesses. Okay, repeat until you reach the exact answer. And next, we have to use a table or make a list. So decide what information need to go to on your chart and then list all the possible in a table or chart to make sure pieces of the problem don't get lost. So organize and record the information so it makes sense. And then draw pictures, diagrams, sketches, maps, and other presentations or representations. So drawing helps solve mathematical problems. So we have the precise measurements, and careful drawings lead to accurate solutions. So we have the logical reasoning, remember? So we have to organize your information, examine relationships, and think about your answer to form a logical answer. And then we have to generalize each relationship to each to reach a logical conclusion. So find a pattern. So list the information you know and identify the information you need to may find. So make an organized list of table. So examine your list for a recognized pattern. Use the pattern to find the missing information. So working backgrounds. Start with the end of a problem and work step by step toward the beginning to get a solution. So write down what you need, don't know, and what do you know. So write down each step as you go, get closer to your answer or to the answer. So the last step will verify that the solution works. Diba? So solve similar but simpler problems. So divide the problems to smaller and easiest steps. So rewarding the problem if you need talaga. So using smaller numbers. So use the algebraic expressions or use mathematical theorems or use of equations and formulas. So it is an effective strategy for demonstrations purposes and to have a better grip of the problem on hand. Devices used to act out the problem and consider equipment. So we have to you can recreational mathematics involves problems, riddles, puzzle, brain teasers, and games carried out for recreation or leisure. It employs creative problem solving, logical reasoning approaches, reflective thinking, and algebraic techniques. So yun yung ating mga kailangan. Oh, well, so meron tayong tinatawag dito KENKEN'S puzzle. Ako, maganda to. Mag-enjoy kayo dito. So, if you like Sudoku, there's a good chance you'll love Kenken. If you hate Sudoku, there's a good chance that you love Kenken. Invented by a Japanese mathematics teacher, with Tetsuya Miyamoto in 2004. So Kenken is an elegant and rich logic puzzle which with a few easy to understand rules, which helps explain why New York Times puzzle editor Will Shorts call it the most addictive puzzle since Sudoku. Kasi ito yung kanyang Kenken's rule and straightforward. So fill in each square cell in the puzzle with number between 1 and the size of the grid. For example, in a 4 by 4 grid, use the numbers 1 to 4 kasi 4 yun, di ba? And then use each number exactly once in a row in each column. So, ibig sabihin, minsan mo lang siya gagamitin sa row or sa column. Hindi pwedeng uulitin. So the number in each cage indicated by the heavy lines, yung medyo makapalang line na makikita mo naman doon mamaya, must combine in any order to produce the cage target number using the indicated math operation. Kasi may makita operation doon eh. So numbers may be repeated with the cage as long as rule number 2 not violated. Kailangan kasi hindi siya magkakatama do sa sa rule na yan, sa row at column. Kung kailangan talaga, di ba? Okay, number 4, no guessing is required kasi mahirap manghula, di ba? So each puzzle can be solved completely using only logical deduction. So harder puzzles require more complex deductions. So, di ba? Ito yung apat na rule. Kailangan medyo maintindihan mo lang. Pag naintindihan mo na, madali na yung KENKE'S rules natin. O, paano siya? Yan. That's all you need to know. The rest is just logical deduction derived from the rules. Okay, so try natin mag-solve. So nakita mo yan, di-divide do yung 2 division or divide 7 plus 4 negative 2. 2 minus 4 times 3 minus 1 minus 1 minus. Ito pa lang. So dito pa lang makita mo na ang pwede natin gamitin ay ito. Tapos nakita mo yung mga line na dark yan. So ibig sabihin, ito yung hangganan. Hanggang doon ka lang. Hindi ka pwede lumabas. Okay, dito makita mo dito. So, ito, pwede natin kagad na 4 daw. Oh, so 4 agad siya. Kasi, di ba? Ito, next. Nakita mo, pwede ka makita dito na pwede itong 7, tsaka true. Kasi sa 7, pwede 3 and 4, di ba? And then, 6 and 1. Eh, hindi pwede. Kasi hanggang 4 lang tayo, di ba? So, check natin. So, dito rin, sa 2, di ba? Pero dito muna tayo. So, 3 and 4. Kasi nga, hindi mo pwede ilagay ulit 4 dito. Kasi mag-uulit tayo, mababayulit natin yung rule number 2, di ba? So, 3 and 4. Ayan, 3 and 4. So, pag pinag-add mo yung dalawa, yung 3 and 4, so we have 7. Di ba? 7 makukuha mo dyan. Next. Bakit ito 2? Kasi nga, remember, 4. Ano ba ang kuha ng 4? Di ba 1 times 4? Eh, kaso tatlo siya. Di ba? Eh, pwede naman 2 times 2, yun yung rule number 3. Di ba? Na pwede mo ulitin as long as hindi mo mababayolate yung rule ng column tsaka ng row. Oh, so hindi pwede ako maglagay ng 2 dito. Yan. Tas 2 dito. Kasi at least dito wala pang 2, di ba? Sa column na to. So lagay ako ng 2 dito, maglalagay uli ako ng 2 doon. Yan, kasi hindi na ako pwede maglagay ng 2 dito kasi andito na yung 2. So, pwede ko ilagay dito ay 1. O, di ba? 2 times 2, 4 times 1 is 4. Di ba? Nakita nyo? 1, 2, 3, 4. O, yun yung nasuon natin. Nakukuha. So, ito, pwede na dito. Pwede ito ay 4 and 3 kasi 4 minus 3 is 1. Kaya lang, ang problema, yung pwesto, di ba? O, dito naman, 3 and 1. Kasi, di ba? 3 minus 1 is 2. So, dito, di ba? Check mo kung saan ang pwesto. Okay, next. Check natin. Yan, oh, di ba? 4. Tsaka 3. Yan, 4 and 3. Yan, di ba? So, makakuha mo na. So, dito naman, check natin dito. Ano gagawin natin? Dito kasi 2 and 1. Pwede mag 1 dito, pwede 2 dito. Kaso, may 4. Mali, hindi pwede. So, minus 4 and 1. Di ba? Para maging 3. So, pwede dito mag 4, magwa 1 tayo dito. Di ba? O, di ba? O, kasi 4 minus 1 is 3. Kasi nga, ang 4 dito, ayan na, oh, dito na. Kasi ito magiging 2. Di ba? Pwedeng 2 yun. Yan. So, magiging 1 na lang to. O, di ba? So, 2 divided by 1 is 2. O, nakuha nyo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yan. Yan. So, next. 2 and 3. Kasi 3 minus 2 is 1. So, yun. Yung kanina natin sinabit. Yan, di ba? Madali na. Nakita nyo. Nakita nyo, wala tayong inulit. So, yan yung KENKEN'S puzzle. So, makita nyo ulit dito. Yan. So, sa 5 by 5. So, dito, nakita mo may hangganan. So, 4 times 3 is 12. 5 minus 1 is 4. And then, 4 divided 2 is 2. Pero yung pwesto niya, di ba, nakita mo, yan. Wala tayong binabiolate na rule. So, nakita mo yan. Ito, hanggang dito yan, di ba? Naulit-ulit tayo. Yung 5 times 5 kasi 25 yun, di ba? O, di ba? Wala tayong binabiolate na rule. O, di ba? Kasi hindi naman siya nakalinya. Iisa sa lang siya operation, pero hindi yan. Okay, I hope na naintindihan nyo. Ito ganun din. So, 6 by 6. So, 1 to 6 yan. So, nakita niyo yan, di ba? 4 times 4, 16 times 5 times 3. So, yun dito. So, nakita nyo, wala siyang inuulit. Pero kasi, yung may mga hangganan lang siya. Yan, o. Di ba? O, yan pa. O, di ba? Dali, ano? O, next. Alam na may magic square. Ay, naku, ito mas madali. A magic square of order n is an arrangement of numbers in squares such that the sum of n numbers in each row, column, and diagonal is the same number. Okay, so for example, di ba? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alam to, para tong Sudoku, kaya lang di rin nauulit. Di ba? Ito. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So, 16 yan. So, titingnan natin yan. Paano natin siya ma-check na to? Kasi pag in-add natin to, ilan to? 1 plus 5. So, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15. Okay. So, ito. Ilan ang makukuha natin? So, dito kasi, ma-check mo lang yan. Di ba? O ilan na? Ilan to? dapat. So, ang una natin ko niyan is 14. Ayan, oh. So, makita mo, di ba? 34 dapat siya. Di ba? Kada kwan. So, makita mo dito, yan, 1, yan, is 14 dito. So, pag in-add mo itong tukpa na to, check mo ulit dito, kung ano nawawala, kasi makikita mo naman yan, oh. Yan, 7, di ba? Pag dito, in-add mo ulit 34, ano mawawala? 9. So, check ulit tayo isa pa. O, 8. Ito, para dito. So, dito, pwede na natin solve to. 5. So, after, pwede yan. O, ito. Check natin kung ano pwede yan. O, 16. So, ano na lang nawawala? 3. So, nakuha natin yan. So, remember, wala tayong inulit. Ano na natin dyan? So, yan yung ating mga ginawa. So, I hope na naintindihan nyo yung ating ginawa. Lahat ng mga seat work o assignment, i-upload ko na lang sa Google Classroom. I hope na meron tayong natutunan na ng panibago. So, maraming salamat. See you again. Magandang buhay. Ingat pa kayo palagi. Salamat.